Bonjour, this is Sébastien, aka the Movie Bear, and today I will be reviewing The Invite. This review contains no spoilers. The Invite is directed by Olivia Wilde and written by Rashida Jones and Will Cormack. It's actually an American remake of the 2020 Spanish film Sentimental, which was based on the stage play The People Upstairs. The story has already been adapted in Italy, Switzerland, France, and South Korea, so it's clearly a concept that resonates with audiences around the world. I had a really great time with this movie. What impressed me the most was the way it slowly unfolds. At first, it feels like a light, funny dinner party comedy, and you think you know exactly where it's going. But little by little, the conversation starts revealing who those people really are, and the movie becomes much more emotional and surprisingly insightful. By the end, it's really about relationship, communication, and the importance of facing problems instead of pretending they don't exist. Without getting into spoilers, the story follows Joe and Angela, played by Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde. They're a married couple whose relationship has hit a rough patch. So they invite their upstairs neighbors, Pina and Hawk, played by Penelope Cruz and Edward Norton, for dinner. What starts out as a fairly ordinary evening gradually turns into something unexpected, with several surprising twists along the way. Now, even though this film is being marketed as a comedy, don't expect a typical laugh a minute comedy. Yes, it's very funny. I laughed throughout the film, but it's also surprisingly intimate. There are some genuine moving scenes and a few moments that hit a lot harder emotionally than I was expecting. I thought the balance between comedy and drama was one of the film's biggest strengths. The cast is fantastic across the board. Seth Rogen's give what is, for me, the best performance of his career. He still has his great comedic timing, but this role allows him to show vulnerability and dramatic depth in a way I've never really seen him do before. Olivia Wilde is equally impressive. She gives a terrific performance. Her character is complicated, insecure, anxious, and emotionally fragile, but she never overplays any of it. Everything feels very natural, and she captures these emotions in a believable way. Edward Norton is phenomenal. Near the end of the film, he delivers a monologue that completely changed the emotional tone of the story. It's one of those scenes that reminds you just how great of an actor he is. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it puts him in the Oscar conversation for Best Supporting Actor. And then there's Penelope Cruz, who once again reminds us why she's one of the finest actors working today. She brings so much warmth, intelligence, charisma, and honesty to her performance. She's been delivering outstanding works for years, and this is another performance that deserves to be recognized. The screenplay is easily the movie's biggest strength. Every conversation feels authentic, and every scene pushes the story or the characters forward. Nothing feels wasted. The dialogue is sharp, funny, and incredibly natural. The interactions between the two couples are believable, making it easy to imagine these situations happening in real life. What I love most is how the film gradually transforms. It starts as this witty relationship comedy, but before you know it, it becomes a thoughtful look at marriage, intimacy, honesty, and the way people communicate, or sometimes fail to communicate with the people they love. It reminds me a little of films like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, some of Woody Allen's relationship drama, and Richard Linklater's Before trilogy. If you enjoy movies where the dialogue is really the star of the show, I think you're going to love this. This is a movie that will make you laugh, but it will also leave you thinking long after the credits roll. Olivia Wilde also does an excellent job behind the camera. Since almost the entire movie takes place inside one apartment, it would have been easy for it to feel visually repetitive. But she keeps things interesting with clever camera work, great pacing, and some beautifully composed shots. I love the use of windows in the movie. The cinematography is much stronger than I expected for such a contained story. The movie runs just an hour and 47 minutes, and honestly, it flew by. The pacing is excellent because the dialogue is so engaging and the editing keeps everything moving at exactly the right speed. It never feels slow or repetitive. I also like the score. It's subtle, never distracting. It feels like a natural part of the story, instead of something that's simply there to manipulate your emotions. The film premiered at Sundance, where it received an extremely positive response from critics and audiences. At the time I'm recording this review, it's sitting at 96% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, 90% from audiences, a 82 on Metacritic, with a 4.1 on Letterboxd, and a 7.9 on IMDb. That's a really impressive set of reviews, and the strong word of mouth could give it real momentum throughout the award season. For me, The Invite is so far one of the biggest surprises of the year. It's funny, intelligent, sexy, emotionally honest, and much more moving than I expected. What really stayed with me is how the movie keeps evolving. Just when you think you know what kind of film you're watching, it opens another emotional door and becomes something richer. Underneath the comedy is a thoughtful examination of relationships, communication, and the challenges of marriage. Its greatest achievement is that it's constantly evolving. What begins as an entertaining dinner party comedy slowly transforms into something richer and more emotionally satisfying. For me, this is Olivia Wilde's best film as a director, even stronger than Booksmart and Don't Worry, Darling. If you're someone who enjoys smart, dialogue driven films with outstanding performances and characters that feels like real people, I think this is absolutely worth seeing. I'm giving The Invite a 9 out of 10. Now, let's talk about its Oscar chances. Because I honestly think that this film has a real shot at becoming a Best Picture nominee. Right now, I think its strongest Oscar category is Best Adapted Screenplay. I also think Edward Norton has an excellent chance of earning another Best Supporting Actor nomination. And Penelope Cruz could easily find herself back in the Best Supporting Actress lineup. What's especially interesting is that Cruz could potentially receive nominations for two different performances this year. She also has an excellent chance of being nominated for La Bola Negra, so this could end up being another remarkable year for her. She's already a four-time Academy Award nominee, winning Best Supporting Actress for Vicky Cristina Barcelona. She was also nominated for nine Volver and Parallel Mothers. And based on what she does here, I wouldn't be surprised to see her earn a fifth nomination. Maybe even a sixth if she's nominated for both films. Edward Norton is also a four-time Oscar nominee. His most recent nomination came for A Complete Unknown. And before that, he was recognized for Primal Fear, Birdman, and American History X. His performance here, especially that unforgettable monologue at the end, is exactly the kind of work the Academy tends to notice. I also think Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde could work their way into the awards conversation. Oscar nominations may be a bit more difficult, but I could absolutely see both of them earning Golden Globes nominations in the comedy or musical categories. Because this is such a dialogue driven film, I don't expect it to rack up a lot of technical nominations. That said, I certainly wouldn't rule out nominations for cinematography, film editing, original score, or even casting. As for Olivia Wilde, I think she deserves to be in the Best Director conversation based on the strength of this film. The only question is whether the lingering controversy surrounding Don't Worry Darling might still influence voters. Even so, if enough people embrace the invite, I think she'll definitely be part of the discussion this award seasons. Now, here is my trivia question. Name the married couple that starred in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Both were nominated for an Oscar. She won, he didn't. You can write the correct answer in the comments. You can also like and subscribe in order to be informed of new content added to my channel. Merci!